You have two parents, that part is obvious, and each of them had two parents, which gives you 4 grandparents. Go back one more step and you have 8 great-grandparents. Keep going, 16, 32, 64. The number doubles every single generation you climb up your family tree, and it doesn't take long before that doubling produces a number so enormous it breaks reality. Because if you follow this simple math back just 1,000 years, it tells you that you had more ancestors than there were people alive on the entire planet. That's not a mistake in the math. The math is perfectly correct. And the reason it's impossible is going to tell you something astonishing about who you actually are. So how many ancestors do you really have? The honest answer is one of the strangest, most beautiful facts about being human. To get there, we just have to follow the doubling, watch it collapse, and see what's hiding underneath your family tree. Let's actually do the math, because it starts out completely reasonable. You have 2 parents, 4 grandparents, 8 great-grandparents. Each step back in time doubles the number of ancestors in that generation. A generation is roughly 25 to 30 years, so let's climb. Go back 10 generations, around 250 to 300 years, to roughly the early 1700s. The math says you have about 1,024 ancestors in that generation alone. That's still believable. 1,000 people scattered across various towns and countries, all quietly contributing to you. Now go back 20 generations, around 500 years, to the time of the Renaissance. The number is now over 1 million ancestors in that single generation. Already it's starting to feel strange. 1 million people, all alive at the same time, all required to exist in exactly the right pattern so that you could one day be born. But we're just getting started. Keep doubling. Go back 30 generations. We're now around the year 1000, 1,000 years ago. The doubling math says you should have over 1 billion ancestors in that one generation, more than 1 billion. And go just a little further, to about 40 generations back, and the math demands something truly absurd, over 1 trillion ancestors. 1,000 billion people all alive at once, just to produce you. Here's the problem. There have never been 1 trillion people alive at the same time. There aren't even 8 billion people alive today, and that's the most crowded the planet has ever been. 1,000 years ago, the entire human population of Earth was only around 300 million people. So the math is telling you that you needed 1 billion ancestors in a world that contained less than 1/3 of that. This is what's known as a paradox. The math is right, but the conclusion is impossible. And whenever you find a flawless calculation pointing to an impossible answer, it means one of your assumptions is secretly wrong. So which assumption broke? The hidden assumption is this, that every single one of those ancestors was a different person. The doubling only works if all 1,024 of your ancestors 10 generations back are 1,024 separate individuals, and they are not. This is a phenomenon with a wonderful name, pedigree collapse. Somewhere in your family tree, the branches don't just spread outward forever. They loop back and reconnect. Distant cousins, often without ever knowing they were related, met, fell in love, and had children. And every time that happens, 2 branches of your tree that were supposed to be separate fold back into one. The same ancestor sits in your tree in more than one place. You don't need close relatives for this. Go back far enough, and everyone in a region is some kind of distant cousin. A pair of 6th or 7th cousins marrying wouldn't seem remarkable at all. They'd have no idea. But genealogically, it means your 2 million ancestors might actually be a much smaller number of real people, each one appearing in your tree again and again, sometimes thousands of times over. Your family tree, it turns out, is not really a tree at all. A tree keeps branching outward forever. Yours branches out for a while and then begins folding back into itself like a net, woven from a limited number of threads, repeating over and over. And this is where the cold math turns into something genuinely moving. If your ancestors keep collapsing back into the same people, then so do everyone else's. Your family tree and a complete stranger's family tree, traced back far enough, don't stay separate. They start sharing the same people. In 2004, a Yale statistician named Joseph Chang, working with Douglas Roeder and Steve Olson, built mathematical models to figure out when. And what they found is staggering. Go back far enough and you reach a point where every single person then alive, who left any descendants at all, is an ancestor of every single person alive today. Not most people, everyone. Their models suggest the most recent common ancestor of all living humans may have lived only around 3,000 years ago. And a bit further back, somewhere very roughly between 5,000 and 7,000 years ago, you reach what's called the identical ancestors point, the moment when the entire living population splits cleanly into two groups. People who are ancestors of every human on Earth today, and people whose lines simply died out completely. Now careful here, because this is the part people get wrong. This is about your family tree, not your genes. This common ancestor is genealogical. They sit in everyone's tree, but they didn't pass a piece of DNA to all of us. Your purely genetic ancestry traces back vastly further. But genealogically, the conclusion is rock solid. The person next to you on a train, someone across the planet who speaks a language you've never heard, anyone you pass on the street, somewhere up the tree, you share the same ancestors. Not as a metaphor, as mathematics. Every human you will ever meet is quite literally your distant cousin. So let's go back to the original question. How many ancestors do you actually have? In the strict genealogical sense, every generation you climb adds more people. But because of pedigree collapse, the count of distinct individuals stops doubling and eventually shrinks. Climb high enough, and your ancestors are not a growing crowd, but a shared and shrinking pool that merges with all of humanity. And the closer the group, the more recent the merge. One study found that everyone of European descent alive today shares common ancestors from just about 1,000 years ago. Not one famous king or queen, but essentially everyone living in Europe back then who left descendants at all, sits in the family tree of every European alive now. The merging is total. At that point, almost the entire population is either an ancestor of all of you or of none of you. And every one of them, all the way back, succeeded at the only thing that mattered for you to exist. Through ice ages, famines, plagues, wars, and countless ordinary dangers, every single one of your direct ancestors lived long enough to have a child. An unbroken chain, millions of links long, stretching back hundreds of thousands of years, and not one link ever broke. If any one of them had died a little younger, you would simply not be here. So the next time you try to picture your family tree, don't picture a tree at all. Picture a vast woven net, spreading out behind you and then drawing back together, until it merges into the single shared family of everyone who has ever lived. You don't have a private list of ancestors that belongs only to you. You have a thread running through the entire human story, knotted to every other person who is alive or ever was. You are not the end of one small family line. You are the meeting point of nearly every human who came before you, each of them surviving against impossible odds, so that one day the whole tangled net could come together and become you. And the same math runs forward too. Chang estimated that within about 2,000 years, nearly everyone alive on Earth will count most of us, you included, among their ancestors. Live and have a family, and you don't just join the human tree. Given enough time, you become part of everyone.